Hello, everyone. Thank you again so much for joining us on the 1 Million Cups podcast for the community by the community. Today, I have the honor of having Robert Rapp joining us, and he's got some amazing stories. Thank you so much for being here. I just really appreciate you taking your time and just talk to us a little bit about Rotary and all the cool things that does,
Yeah, well, Rotary is really my passion. It's one of the most important things in my life, and it's about helping others. It's serving others.
which is so great.
Yeah. So I'm going to be the district governor for our Rotary District 5650.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. So the way it works is serve a year term.
Okay.
So my term starts July 1st.
All right.
And we have 38 Rotary clubs in our district, Eastern Nebraska, Western Iowa, about 1,800 members.
It's amazing. And you're part of Suburban Rotary, right?
Well, I'm actually part of the Omaha Morning Rotary.
You are?
Right.
Okay. I think we've met at a Suburban Rotary before.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But being district governor, you're going to go travel around to
That's
all of
right.
them. That's the plan.
My goal is to be kind of like inspire them and to
Love
help them
that.
have the best year they can serving their communities and the world.
Awesome. One thing I don't think people realize about Rotary is the four-way test
Right.
about when we look at people coming in, we really hold them to certain values. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I do, because the four-way test, it came out of the Depression, actually.
Really?
And it was a way of doing things that a business owner, he wanted his employees to think about.
I love that.
Right.
So it's building culture with this.
Yeah, building culture and just
Okay.
about the way how we treat others.
Okay.
And, and I guess it's what you do unto others, you get back to you, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so the four-way test is really, is it the truth?
Okay.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
I love that. And I think it just really talks about, truth and what is your core. And that's so important as we build a business. And this is for entrepreneurs, looking inward, looking at the culture of the business that we're growing, really, really important to get that right.
That's right.
Before you grow. So
Yeah.
that's so great. And tell me how you came to Rotary.
Well, so, it's a long story, but actually it's about my family in a way,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So my dad was a cowboy. My mom was a schoolroom teacher. She taught in 1 and 2 room schools.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But part of my dad's story was that he was a young cowboy, 17 years old. He was rodeoing with some friends, and they went across the border into Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for work.
Of course, yeah.
And so we interviewed with a guy in Calgary.
Calgary.
And
Awesome.
they had a dairy there, and his name was Jim Murray. And so he ended up breaking horses for him.
Oh, wow, okay.
And at the end of the summer, there was a horse that he broke that everybody had a little bit of trouble with, and he wanted that horse. She was a Palomino. And he named
So
her.
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful
so
horse.
Beautiful
Beautiful
horses.
horse.
Those are one of my favorites for sure.
So her name's Alberta Min.
Her name's Alberta Min.
Yeah.
I love that.
So anyway, he didn't have enough money when he bought her to get her home. He was from
In like a trailer or whatever. Okay.
yeah. So he rode her home to where he lived in Gresh, Colorado, which is out east of Colorado Springs.
From Alberta. And that's how many miles?
1,500.
1,500 miles just on horseback.
Yeah, 45 days.
Amazing.
Yeah, so he couldn't ride her the whole way. He had to walk her. And
Yeah.
so anyway, but the story is about the people that took him in, because it kind of got picked up by the papers.
Sure.
And so they would be looking for him, and then they would invite him into their home. And
From
they
like town to town, like he's the minor celebrity
Yeah.
coming riding in on horseback.
That's
I love that.
So the story is that, he couldn't have done that journey except he had other people helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how he lived his life. And my mom was a teacher. She taught special ed. She taught kids with special needs. So that was the upbringing that I got.
Did he meet her on this 45-day journey?
Well, no, not quite.
No.
But he did meet her in a snowstorm, and he helped get her unstuck.
Oh my goodness. So he was the hero for her.
Yeah, he got her unstuck.
That's great.
But the thing is, when I was born, they lived out in southeastern Colorado, which there was nothing out in this country. It's pretty
bare.
Pretty bare, yeah.
Scrub and hills, and that's about it. But great for horses.
Great for horses, yeah.
Yes.
Great for horses. But it was that that ethic of helping others,
Yeah.
our community, how we help each other. And so in my life, that's really what I was raised with. Those are the values that I was raised with. And
I love that.
My journey to my business is that as well. So what I do is, and how I got to Rotary
Mm-hmm.
was because of that, because I showed that I had that, compassion for others.
Right. Absolutely. And not that community. I mean, that's really what this whole podcast is about, right?
That's
When
right.
you're building a business, it's hard. You're trying to find, your way, and you have to rely on others' goodwill to point you in the right direction and give you the supplies you need. So just like your dad, I totally love that.
So my business, I've done insurance and financial services for about 25 to 30 years.
Awesome.
But the theme really is helping protect what matters most.
Okay.
So that's what I do for my clients is I just help protect whatever that is. It could be their home, their auto, their life, their business, their family,
Yeah.
whatever that means to them.
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of things that need protecting for sure.
Yeah.
Even jewelry.
Yeah, sure. So I'm very lucky in that, I get to live this passion with my business and helping others, but also my passion for Rotary because it's service above self. That's the underlying theme, service above
Yes.
self.
I've always loved that motto of Rotary, that it is, all about others and service and community. So,
And it's also an international organization. So you can see in the sign behind it,
yes.
our international president incoming, he's from Brazil. His first name is Mario.
Oh, wow. That's
So
amazing.
there's about 1.2 million Rotarians around the world.
Nationwide. Doing good.
All over the world. All
Yes.
over the world doing good. But I can pick up the phone or send an email to anybody anywhere in the world. If I we need to work on a project together.
Yeah.
I'm part of the class.
Yeah.
There's 525 other district governors
Oh, wow.
around the world, and we're in a class for the rest of our life.
What a great mission. And I think especially at this time, just talking about how we need to come together and how unity is really important and truly the way forward. I love that.
And that's a good word that you use because our theme is Unite for Good.
I know. See what I did there? Yeah. Awesome. Now, I know you brought some props with you today. Tell me what we're talking about here.
Okay. Well, one of the other things my dad did to instill a little bit of character when I was growing up was he thought that boxing was a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to remember, this was the 70s. So we had Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Absolutely.
And at that time in Nebraska and Iowa and South Dakota, there were little boxing clubs all over that sprung up. And so from the time I was about 9 to 15, we went to every Saturday during the winter. We would be boxing.
That's amazing.
So anyway, just in remembrance of that,
Yes.
I brought a boxing glove here so we can.
Are we going to spar?
Yeah. No.
Yes. Let's do it. New on Omaha 1 Million podcast is
So anyway, I was going to put this. I'm service above self.
Yes.
I'm a really quiet guy.
Right. But in the ring, don't mess with you.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm going to guess that means you're just as aggressive about defending what you're trying to protect for your clients, too.
That's right. Yeah, my community and my clients, my family, all of those things. I'll go to the mat for them.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Thank you so much. This has been great. Tell me, you have told us so many great stories about your dad. Tell me about another story that really just left an impression on you about maybe service or community or something really impactful when you were growing up.
Well, I can say this about me because I got meningitis when I was 16.
Oh my gosh, that is a very challenging disease.
Yeah, I got viral meningitis and I about died.
Oh, wow.
But there was the community. We were farmers. My dad was a farmer and a rancher. And so, I was a lot of the help that he needed during the fall. And I was playing football, all those things. Anyway, the community rallied around us and made sure that we were taken care of when I was sick.
That's amazing.
So I would say that was an example of a community coming together.
I feel like Rotary and insurance and all these things are very closely connected for you. It's really, I see you living out your passion and your dreams through everything that you're involved in. And that's so amazing. That's really cool.
The thing is that, when you're in that field, when we were growing up, is my dad was an eternal optimist.
I love that.
Okay. And my mom too. She was a little more cautious than my dad, but he would take more risks. But, we would plant our crops and, they could get hailed on or anything could happen. But my dad just always taught us to look at life positively and that you can work through things and that, we help each other.
Yeah. Farmers, I think, are one of the riskiest things. I think a lot of people think they're very traditional and conservative, but you're literally sinking all your ducks into one pond and praying that the weather holds out for you that year. So I think farmers and entrepreneurs have a lot more in common than they realize.
Absolutely. And we also raise cattle. So the thing is that we used to, we would have calving in the spring. So
And
we
that
had,
is challenging. I've helped with that before,
yeah.
actually.
So, you have to go out
Yes.
and they're having a calf and you've got to pull a calf or.
Always in the worst weather.
Yeah, worst weather. And so we would get through that. And then we always did the branding in May. And so that was part of the other community part that we did was we went around and helped each other.
Yeah. Help do that together.
Yeah.
I love the community of that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So my mom would cook and so we just would go around to the different ranches and we would help each other out.
Have like potlucks everywhere you went. That's so great. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories and taking the time to join us on the 1 Million Cups podcast today. And thank you all for watching so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Absolutely.
Okay.